Hello, my friends in the world. I'm walking along the tree-lined streets of Beverly Hills. It's not all the glitz and glamour, although that is part of it. Heading over to one of our fellow gifters' functions. His name is Eric Brown. He's a luxury realtor. His company is Telus Properties, one of my clients. Make sure you get a good lighting. It's all about lighting. For those of you who post a lot of videos, you know that it's all about lighting. So as I walk there, I thought I'd share a quick lesson. Super excited, first of all, that I'm actually going to go to Spain next month. I'm heading out to New York and Spain. The beauty of being an online entrepreneur, as long as you have Wi-Fi, a computer, and a cell phone, you can work anywhere in the world. So those of you who know about my GPS program, Results, one of our amazing gifters, I won't mention her name, but she's going to be traveling to Europe because I don't know if she wants to share that, but that's why I won't mention her name. I'm very respectful of people and what they do, but she is part of our program and she's going to be traveling to Europe for some time and building out her online business around the world. So let's make sure I don't get hit by a car, and sometimes you got to watch out for these Lexus driving, Mercedes-Benz driving people. So super excited. I was started the year off in Australia. In January alone, I was in 8 cities and 4 countries. I was in Australia, Canada, US, and Jamaica. And then I've been to Denver and Dallas and Austin and going back to San Diego. But next month I'll be in Europe. So the lesson I'm going to share is deliberate practice makes you a genius. So the 10,000 hour mastery, which is popularized by Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote a book called Outliers, which when he studied people like the Bill Gates and Beatles of the world, it doesn't matter whether you're a musician or a madly talented computer scientist like Bill Gates, generally speaking, if you spend 10,000 hours in a certain practice, you get a mastery. Now, that was actually created by a person named Anders Ericsson based out of Florida, and he wrote a book recently, which I mentioned in a previous Facebook Live, about how if you want to be the peak or the best or an expert at whatever field you are, it's about deliberate practice. So the entire book, it's called Peak, the New Science of Expertise, where this guy has studied this stuff for decades, not just 2 or 3 years. And this is why it's so powerful to read these books, because reading helps you accelerate your learning, your sales skills, your relationship skills, your business skills. And so read a book called Peak by Anders Ericsson, and he studies experts, whatever field you are. And so you may think that you're born with it. So he gives him an analogy about how it's got, whether it's either Mozart or Beethoven, where they're both prodigies and one had perfect pitch. They're like, oh, you must be born with perfect pitch. But then he read about a study about a Japanese teacher who was able to teach his students perfect pitch, which completely refuted the wisdom at the time that they thought that, oh, you must be born with perfect pitch. But here's a Japanese teacher that proved irrefutably that you can teach perfect pitch. And so deliberate practice is about practicing on whatever craft you have, whether, in my case, I teach my clients, what I call gifters, how to speak well. But there's something that a lot of us end up doing, which is you can't assume that just because you do things for a long time, you get any better. And it gives an example, an analogy about how you might think that a doctor that has 20 years experience is better than a doctor that has 5 years experience. And he said that all of us, whether if you're a doctor or you're driving a car, you reach a certain point after you learn a new skill where you get comfortable. It becomes automatic. And if you don't have a deliberate practice to do things differently, to not just try harder, but what he says to try differently, then you have that same plateau level. We all see that, which is why you can be in a job for 10 years, but you're just in the job for 1 year, repeated 10 times, which is why I highly encourage you to always try new things, always read new books, always meet new people, because otherwise you're living a Groundhog Day every single day of your life, and that's quite boring. It doesn't have to be that way. So anytime you feel bored in life, instead of watching TV or going on social media, except for watching my Facebook Lives, share this video please. It's about learning things about yourself and about other people. So, as a very specific example, I've written 5 books, and each time I wrote a book, I would always ask my editors and people that are better writers than I am, and lawyers who really look at words by word, so it just allows me to be a better writer. But it's about deliberate practice, and not being satisfied with just saying you're a good writer. Or even in my case, I've spoken for 16 years now, and I can always get better, because every scenario is different, every audience is different, every place is different, and every speech is different. So I hope you know that genius is not something that you're born with. This is based on research, decades-long research by a guy named Anders Ericsson. So make sure you do your best to start building your genius, your skill set, your talent, whatever you want to do, by having deliberate practice. Deliberate practice means don't just get all complacent and comfortable where you are. Start looking at specific ways where you can learn better. So as speakers, I was talking to one of our clients the other day, really talented guy, very experienced, but he definitely used a lot of uhs and ums, but he had great stage presence. But the point is, if you cannot find people that can give you that honest feedback, and you don't allow for that honest feedback, and you don't listen to that feedback, you'll never get better. So whenever I hear people say, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 5-10 years, big deal. I mean, are you constantly learning? Because even someone like Michael Jordan would learn, even he was at the pinnacle of success. So just want to end this day off by saying that if you want to improve anything in your life, don't believe that it's something you're born with. According to Anders Ericsson, who has researched this for decades, based out of Florida, that expert performers, regardless of what field, you can learn that by deliberate practice and with purposeful practice, which is essentially every single time you want to set a goal, every single time you want to learn something new, you have to consistently ask yourself, what do you need to do better? So as an example, let's say as a speaker, I need to look more in the camera and not move my head as much. Once I have that down, maybe I need to speak more clearly. Once I have that down, maybe I need to use my body language more. Once I have that down, maybe I need to be a more persuasive listener. But my point I'm getting at is, it's about step-by-step a process of being a better speaker in various avenues, whether with your words, your body language, or your tone of voice. And in time, you'll be a gifted speaker. So hopefully that helps. Have a great day, great night, and can't really see the sunset behind us, but we have a sunset coming on, and there's a lot of Lambo or McLaren. It happens a lot in Beverly Hills. But have a good night, everyone. Be good and do good and stretch yourself. Bye.